Hello my scrappy peeps, it's Cheyenne the Pixie Crafter, and we are going to be working with this photo today of my kiddo dressed as a ninja for Halloween in 2012. Yes, that's right, we're going back to 2012. So I've got a piece of very vanilla cardstock, 12 by 12, and I'm just coating it with some clear gesso just to prepare it for the things we're going to do. Set that aside and let it dry, or if you're impatient like me, you get out your Stampin' Up! Heat tool and you dry it that way. Now I've got some Stampin' Up! Embossing paste and that Tim Holtz stencil that is for Halloween, and I'm just smushing it on there because I want to create a textured background. So I've got that stencil, and then I end up pulling out some others from Stampin' Up! And these ones are from a couple holiday catalogs. It's just a whole bunch of different dots that I'm just kind of randomly placing around. I'm trying not to get really any straight lines to any of that. And then I'm going to pull this fun brick layer stencil, and I'm going to get that on there. So lots of different textures that are going to play. This is just adding another layer to the mixed media aspect of it. To add color, I opted to pull out my Tim Holtz Distress crayons. I'm still kind of experimenting with these, but I'm having a whole lot of fun. If you wanted to go ahead and use any spritzers that you had, whatever you usually do in your mixed media to add color, you can totally do that. But I wanted to do this. So I'm just scribbling on some of those colors, and then I'm just taking water and I'm spritzing it. I love that the Distress line has water reactive properties to it. It's great, it's fun, it's fantastic, and you can see I'm just using my finger there. And I'm going kind of color by color because I don't want the colors to blend together too much. Now on camera, the edges look really harsh, but in real life, they're blended out really softly, like they almost fade into nothing. So it's very deceptive on camera, but it is a nice I fade out. These are so fun to work with. So any like distress crowns, gelatos, or whatever you have. And I love anything where I can like get in there and start working with my hands and really mush it around and get to like feel the product. I don't know, maybe it's a throwback to finger painting days and the innocence of childhood, but it's so much fun. And I took a baby wipe and a napkin, and I kind of distressed some of the edges too, so wipe some of the stuff off and everything. And then I decided, it needs some gold sprinkled on it. I really need to get some of the Heidi Swap gold there. I think that would make my day. But gold is one of my son's favorite colors, so I thought I needed some of that. And here I've got some Tim Holtz Distress stain that I'm just sprinkling on, and the stain is going to kind of like spread out a little bit more. Now here's those die cuts that I made from the last video up on my channel. So we're pulling it all together now. You saw it getting designed and cut, and now we are assembling it all. Oh, I wanted my photo to stand out a little more, so I've just got some scrap papers from my scrap pile. That's a retired Stampin' Up! Product. I love anything with a diagonal stripe. So that's a pumpkin pie, and there's tempting turquoise, still from the same stack that is unfortunately discontinued. I cried the day they discontinued those stacks. And yeah, so just use up your scraps. When you're matting your photos, it is a fantastic time to use up your scraps. That is some pumpkin pie glimmer paper from Stampin' Up! That's also retired. Why do they do this to us? They get us hooked on something and then they take it away. But there are lots of other products out there. And here you can see I'm trimming the pagoda out a little bit more. I just thought that it was too much of a border, and yeah, I kind of thought that when I was cutting it out, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna wait to see it in person. Sometimes you have to do it. You have to see it like all put together to decide what you wanted to do. If I was like layering tissue paper or something over top of it, I would just kind of blend out those edges, but wasn't doing that, so I just went ahead and trimmed around. I love these scissors for fussy cutting. I got them at Hobby Lobby. They're by Fiskars, and totally worth it. Makes fussy cutting so much easier. I'm not a huge fan of fussy cutting, but there are times when you need to do it, and these scissors really help. Feels so much better around like my thumb and finger, and my wrists are happier. So there you see, that looks a lot better without all of that extra white around. I opted to distress the edges of my mat just to kind of bring up a little bit more texture, have it stand out a little bit, so it's exposing some of the white center of that paper, so it's a little white highlight. And then there's a lot of pieces that I'm going to go ahead and pop up, and you'll see like I go back and add some glue to that third one there because it wasn't sticking down, because I do have the texture on the background piece, so I have to kind of, you know, get that extra surface area. Oh, I love playing with layers when I'm adding my die cuts and doing my clusters. So you can see with the flower there, I just tucked it into the mat, and I think that really helps, you know, give it some extra dimension, making it look like everything's just intertwined and just happy to be together. I also find it's handy to have a couple different sizes of like foam dots and dimensionals. So by sizes, I don't mean like the width of them, but more of the height of them. So the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are kind of a thinner dimensional, but the circle ones that I have, they're almost like double, maybe close to triple that. So it adds a little bit more pop to it without having to double up on dimensionals and pop dots. I decided that I needed a few more like pops of black. I really feel that black kind of grounds a design, especially when you're working with color, like a lot of different colors. There's quite a few colors on this layout, so just adding some black across, like balancing it, it really helps to just kind of ground everything, to not make it look like it's floating. It gives it a focal point. And I just used my again, it's a retired Stampin' Up! Stamp, or a punch. It's a punch, not a stamp. And, you know, use your products. You purchase them, use them. You know, don't worry about whether you can, you know, get them or anything. Like, use your stash. Use what you have. You don't have to buy new unless you find something that really inspires you. And now it's time for me to figure out title and where I'm going to journal. So I go through my stash, and I pull out some scrap Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to use my tag punch, and I'm just going to punch one side of it. So this is a fun way that you can kind of use your punch in a different way. Just make sure it's popping out the other side, and you see you just got that nice little edge to it. And then I'm going to take one of the papers that I matted my photo with, just to kind of tie it in a little bit more, and I'm going to do the same thing. And this is just going to peek out the edge and just give another little extra dimension to it. So you see there, it's just going, just that very end is going to kind of pop. And this also allows me to customize how long I'm going to make it. And then I go ahead and get out my handy dandy line stencil and write with my Flair pen. I've been really loving the Flair pen to do my journaling and everything. It just gives a nice crisp line. It's not too thin, it's not too thick, and yeah, I'm really loving these pens. And oh hey, look, you can see my hair. Yeah, I kind of feel like a tie-dye pinky bluey sort of color. It's very nice. I'm glad that my hair is clean on this day, because otherwise that could be a little embarrassing. And once the journaling is done, I'm going to add my date stamp. I love this Heidi Swap roller stamp. It is fantastic. I love, you know, that it's a little scripty font for the month, and it's just, I love it. I love it so much. And then I erased my lines. You don't have to erase your lines, but I like to. And then I thought I would color in that little heart because I did, you know, We Heart Halloween. I'm going to end up getting one of my heart die cuts and covering up because I just thought it needed that. So always save your little heart die cuts because you never know when you're going to use them. So yeah, see, here I am just popping, and I really think that adds a little something to the journaling, and I love adding like little pops of red. And now I've got some, they're not thickers, but they're, you know, the knockoff brand of thickers. Believe I got these at Walmart. And I'm just deciding where I'm going to put my title, and then just I've got it on wax paper, and I'm kind of putting it off the wax paper a little bit so that I can kind of stick down half of it and peel the wax paper up. So my title is going to be Ninja Time, and I really need to get more alphabets stickers because I've been using them a lot. So here I have, God, it's a sticker sheet from a long time ago, and it's a blue color that's not going to work. So I'm just taking my Bic markers there and just coloring them black. So here we go. I'm going to do Ninja Time, getting it all kind of lined up. I probably should have just you know, put those direct to paper because I'm struggling so hard getting those little teeny tiny alphas to kind of stick. But I get it done, and I get it on the page. And that's the important part, right? Getting it on the page. So you can see there I am sticking down the half and kind of squiggling them around. They are made out of foam, so you do have some wiggle room with them. Oh, there we go. And then because those little teeny tiny stickers, like they're so old, the adhesive isn't super fantastic on them anymore. So I'm just adding some of my Scotch Quick Dry to them to just kind of stick them down. And then I get all of the dots going to my I's and J's. And then I'm pretty much going to be all done and set and feeling good. Oh, here is the finished layout. It's got some dimension to it. I love the way all of these colors play. I love that I was able to kind of fit in some Halloween stuff with the, you know, Asia ninja theme. Oh, all right. I had so much fun making this. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, please go ahead and click on that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. The link to the Cricut Design Space file for those die cuts will be in the description bar below. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.